Howdy, I'm Repton, and this is Repton Does. Time for episode 10, the Biochemical Sculptor Factory. So first things, we want to head on out to our location, and we have started to mark on our foundation sort of where we want to build things. So we've got our train station coming in. We have started to bring in other materials. You can see on my left there, we've started to lay down where we think we're going to put things. Going to be a little bit of adjustment here, just as we figured out what has to go in here. Bringing our computers, supercomputers, and circuit boards over from our computer factory. Bringing in the rest of the products with the train. The red is where our assemblers are going to go, and then the sort of black gray area is where our manufacturers are going to go. But first, let's see what we need to build. So we need control units. We're going to shoot for about 8 biochemical sculptors a minute. Got to bring in trigons, supercomputers, computers, circuit boards. So as you can see, we got partial assemblers, so we'll handle that. We're going to build 3, and then we'll underclock them a little bit to account for that. We'll need our 4 blenders, 4 manufacturers. Should be pretty good to go. Modular frames coming in from our frame factory. And water, so we're right here out by the Crater Lake, so we'll bring water up from that area. So I believe we're pretty well set. The 8, just a ballpark, I mean, we need 1,000, so sort of like our nuclear pasta. We're just going to set this up, and then we'll let it run. We got to start scouting for our AI server location as well, which I think may go back to our original factory, but we'll see. So back in game, and again, we've painted out areas. Now that blue area was likely to be the blenders, but that's just not going to work. So we'll adjust that as we go. This will be good for our manufacturers. This will be good for our assemblers. That was blenders, but we're going to run those along the back. We need 4, certainly not 1. So we'll make some adjustment here. Yeah, let's go ahead and clean that up. There we go. And yeah, let's get to it. So as you can see, we've got our water coming in up here from Crater Lake. We do have to worry about this rock formation. We're not going to be able to bring anything through that. We might clip into it a little bit with some of the blenders coming on the backside, but in general, we're not going to want to run belts through that. So we'll have to come up just ahead of that red area as we're bringing products over if we're going to come through the bottom floor, which will certainly work well with our trains. You can see we've got our heavy modular frames coming in from the train already, our fix-it trigons, I believe automated wiring here. Yeah. So I think we're set, and this is likely gonna go pretty quick. We have our stack blueprints. I'll include a link to those in the description, and I don't really think we'll have a lot of problem. Blenders we won't use a blueprint for, but let's get started here. So first we are going to grab our manufacturers. So again, we have the odd even concept as we stack them up. Here we're just going to have, we want to face it so that we're getting inputs coming in from the train and then output coming the other way. So we could flip it this way because this is the right layer to start on that odd thing, but that's not really what we want. So I think we might actually flip and use the even. So we're, as long as you go even, odd, odd, even in that pattern when you're stacking, it's fine. So even though odd would normally be our first layer, I think if we pick the even track, we can get a better flow for this particular factory. Yeah, so we can flip that around so you can see our inputs are now coming on the train side. Outputs will be coming back towards the front, towards our assemblers, which will be perfect. So let's lay that down. And then we'll grab that odd now because we did even as our base layer. So we just need to go with the other, whichever one we didn't put down on the bottom, we need to flip to go to the next layer. Normally we'd go odd even because we were just sort of counting layers up. In this case we're going even odd. And just make sure you're lined up blueprint wise and the flows are correct so that we'll be able to tie our lifts in. So yeah, things coming down to this end and then we'll go up right there. And then for our produced products, they're coming down this backside and running across towards the front for our assemblers. So yeah, this looks perfect. So we'll lay that down. And next we'll need to get some power and start running products in. So first we're going to split off and line up with our outlets. We'll just connect it. Now we can set these up. Should have power connected. Oh, it looks like, yeah, we gotta grab, because it's a different blueprint, connect that up. Everybody should be connected. So we'll go ahead and set these up for the adaptive control unit. We need automated wiring, circuit boards, heavy modular frames. So some from the train, some coming in from our computer factory. And let's just get these all set so we can start flowing products into them. And there we go. So next, yeah, we need automated wiring, circuit board, heavy modular frames, and computers. So automated wiring and heavy modular frames are coming from our train station. Circuit boards, computers are coming in from the computer factory. So we probably won't run them in that order because we have automated wiring right here. We can just connect that right in on this back input. So, well, I don't think we need a lift. We can. Yeah, so we'll line that up. It could have just come straight off the top. Don't like that, so we're going to come this way. There we go. And there we go. Now our automated wiring is flowing in. We'll start filling up our manufacturers. And we need our lift on the back. And listen for that click. And we're now locked in. So that should be all set. Automated wiring's flowing and filling up. Let's bring in our modular frames. So again, we can tie right in there. And for that, we come right off the top. It should line up perfectly. That is going to block our other inputs and outputs. So not ideal. So let's flip it around the other way and see how that looks. Now that would be blocking the other train station, but we do have our lower inputs and outputs, which I think will work out okay for this build. So you wouldn't always want to do this, but here I think it's going to be fine. So we'll go ahead and build that belt. And then we have our other two inputs to bring in circuit boards and computers, and for that we're going to go under the floor. So we need our floor conveyor hole, one there, one there, and we'll need to connect with the lift. There we go. Now let's drop under the underside and set up our lifts to connect to those products coming in from our computer factory. Should be able to just face these both this way. I don't think that'll be an issue. And we need computers and circuit boards. Supercomputers are going to be in the middle, which means we're going to have to do something to run those at a different level when we need them. So one belt's not quite going to reach, so let's attach there and then finish that off. Alright, circuit boards are flowing. Let's grab our computers. Same deal. We know we're not going to reach. Let's get it lined up. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to, so we'll just bring it straight down. Got to connect to the right piece there. There we go. Now, yeah, let's bring it down and we will connect. Right, yeah, that should be it. And then take it on across and into our lift, and now we will have everything flowing into our manufacturers. So we're now building adaptive control units. Yeah, we're cranking away 1 a minute, so we've got 4 going, so that'll give us 4 a minute. And now we're gonna need our assemblers. Oh, yeah, let's connect that so we can bring our products down. Now let's get yeah, that looks correct. Things are filling up. So let's grab our assembler blueprint. And we have a stack for that as well. And again, we need slightly more than 2. So we're going to build 3. It's a little bit bigger than this red footprint we put down. But we'll just line that up. Best to bring in our products. Adaptive control units, because we're going to need those into these assemblers. Along with our computers. Or excuse me, supercomputers. So yeah, that looks okay. The outputs will come back around for the blender. So let's get these set up. It doesn't look like we have any power connected on this, so let's drop some outlets to get. We're going to need to fix this blueprint. Obviously, this would not be good if we had a larger build, but this will be fine now. So we'll fix the blueprint later, but drop some outlets up at the top. We'll connect those across and then run power in. The rest of this blueprint hopefully is okay. It's been a little bit since I've used these, but I don't usually forget to put power on them. Just one of those days, I guess. So we'll bring that across, and we may just run it right to that outlet with our manufacturers. Yeah, I think that will work okay. Let's get our assembly director systems. We need adaptive control units, which we're making, and then bring in supercomputers from our computer factory. So these are set up. We're going to need to underclock these as well. Probably should have just done that in one pass. Let's see. We need, I think it was 2.67. That we need. So we're going to cut those down to 2/3 and should be good to go. Okay, so now we just need to bring our adaptive control units. That's pretty straightforward. That's coming right off here from our manufacturers. So we can just run those right on over. So let's grab a lift and we will run that right in. And that might be okay. And there we go. So now adaptive control units will be filling up. Now let's get a floor hole for our supercomputers. Grab that there. Get it lined up. add our lift. Always listen for that click. And then we're going to drop underneath. And yeah, this is where our supercomputer was actually in the middle, so we're going to have to come down some so we don't clip through those belts. And then we'll drop another one. I don't think I came down low enough there. Put you there. Yeah, this should be 4, not 2. So 2, 3, 4. That should line up. Grab our belt. Let's make it straight. There we go. Supercomputers are now flowing in. Adaptive control units, so we should be making our directors. Let's take a look. Assembly director system. Yeah, we're cranking away. So now we just need to build our 4 blenders so that we can get to the 8 a minute. And our products are coming off right there, plus we're going to need a couple of things from the train. I do have some blueprints that were mostly used in our fuel power plant, but that's not going to work here. So I think we're just going to run 4 kind of across the back here. And that should work okay. So we'll come in right about there, a couple, yep. Now let's just drop 4 down, get them lined up. So control, point at the previous one, that'll line it up for you. There we go, that's 3. And 1 more, 4. Now we need to bring our water in. We've got to bring our director systems and trigons. And we should be all set. So assembly director system, which we're making now. Fix-it trigons, which are coming off the train station in that middle car, and then water, which we have pre-staged coming up from Crater Lake. Okay, so we're gonna come off this front, and we're gonna need to come in to there, and then we also need from the train station coming out and coming around into here. So we're gonna need probably 2 levels because we have 2 products coming in, and then of course the water, which we'll probably bring up through the floor. So we'll need a floor hole for pipes. So let's go ahead and get that set up. 1 for each. We could have come up and just run the pipes, but given that we've got 2 other inputs and we don't have a lot of space up here, I think better to just get the pipes under this platform, and then we can do whatever we want to there. Oops. Yeah, you could use Mark 1 or Mark 2 here. We don't need Mark 2. Kind of like the look of the Mark 2 better, so let's use that. And connect there. Alright, so let's drop through our hole. Yeah, I was afraid we were going to end up clipping into that rock a little bit. So again, with pipes you can connect directly. You don't need to, they don't have a flow per se. So we can connect these machines even though they're both inputs. But we are going to have to deal with that one that's back up against the rock a little bit. I think I might be able to get to it. Let's see if we can reach it. Yeah, I think we're hitting it right there. Yeah, so let's bring it out and we'll connect it to this one, and then we can use some T's to join this all together. Not ideal coming through that rock, but I'm not going to see it. It's underneath this floor. So I think it will be okay. Here we go. And drag it there. And then we're going to connect these 2 as well. We will then drop our T to connect those 2 sections together. Set there and there. And we can bring a pipe across. And then we can put a T on this and connect it to our water coming in from Crater Lake. And that will get us our water. So grab our Mark II pipe. I think I even already have a pump on this, so when we connect it up, it should be just good to go. I do like the changes to allow you different build modes for your pipes. Makes things a little bit easier, especially if you've got a lot of pipe work to do. So I do like straight both for belts and for pipes. In this case, we're going to run it right along those belts coming through the bottom. And then we'll just run it over here and connect. Alright, should have water flowing in. Set those up to make our sculptors. Alright, let's get our... Let's see, we need power, so let's solve that. Let me bring it in back here a little bit. Yep. And then we'll need to come down this aisleway to get our last two. Or we could come off that outlet maybe. Let's see. Yeah, that should be okay. We'll have to figure out how we want to drag that in. And now we're going to want to bring our directors, same deal, but they're elevated already, so I think that would be the one that makes sense to elevate and bring up above the pipes. So we bring you out. We're going to want to curve for sure. And run down the length. Because we're going to be out away. Yeah, that looks about right. Keep it on the floor. We could bring our trigons in that way. We need splitters. So let's line that up. What's going on? There we go. And then we gotta go the other direction, which means we have to change this. So let's bring you. We're gonna need splitter there because we gotta go two different directions. Let's bring that belt in. We can come this way, and now we should be filling those two, and now we can come off of that, run back down into here, splitter here, line it up. Come on. No, that's not right. Let's try that again. That looks better. And connect it in. Huh. Still not right. Oh, there we go. Connect there. Trigons are flowing. Water's flowing. I think all we have left are our assembly director systems, which we're going to put up above. So we'll drop a lift here, and on each one facing out. All right. And then our splitter again, we're going to bring it in, flow down this way, and for here we can just flow all one direction, connect those up, and then bring it across right here into here. Let's make it straight. I think that works. Yeah. Okay, so now we should have director systems flowing in. Yep. And our first biochemical sculptor is in progress. That looks good. Whoa! We're not getting water and we're not getting trigons. What's going on here? That splitter is not doing its job. So let's clear that off. Let's try to get our splitter again. Okay. And connect it. What? Still not. What is going on here? Let's try one more time. We must not be on the belt somehow, and we're building it like next to the belt or something. I'm not sure how. Connect it again. Same problem. Alright, so to fix this, we're just going to deconstruct and then we'll run them straight. We'll put the splitter first and then we'll run the belt into it. And then we'll know that it's running through the splitter and we shouldn't have a problem. That lined up. And belt. And then belt. So sometimes that's what you got to do. You should be able to put that splitter on the belt and get it to split, but if not, put the splitter down and then you can run the pieces yourself and then you'll get what you want. So trigons now. Water, that sometimes is just funkiness with pipes. So let's remove this pipe, because clearly water is coming up, right? And these are connected. So it shouldn't be an issue there. I find when you have that situation, especially when you're going through floor holes, you can see there is water in all those pipes. They are full. So it is usually just that pipe up above, even though it's in that floor hole, something is not right. Yeah, as you can see, there's nothing here. So we'll remove that, and we're just going to put the pipe down again. Grab that, connect it, adjust. There we go. And now let's check it. Yeah, so always check that first, because it may not be an actual issue with your flow. It may just be that something weird went on with that pipe, and you're going to have to account for it. No assembly directors yet. We haven't made enough to split down here. Got some here we're making. We're building there. Got some there. So we should get some. Just take some time. Let's go ahead and maybe split this stack just to get everybody building. 3 in there. We'll go drop these 3 down here. Alright, there we go. So all 4 are cranking away, 2 a minute each, so that gives us 8 a minute total. We'll just need to collect this, and for now we'll put it right into a industrial storage, which will give me more than the 1,000 I need for sure. We'll set that right here, and then we just need a belt. Not quite long enough. Ooh, looks like we're going to clip through that rock a little bit. That'll be alright. And there we go. And then run it into our container. And then we just need mergers on this belt. There we go. And another merger. And connected. And final oh, there went some biochemical sculptors. Yeah, we're cranking them. I love it. That's what we want to see. Already got 24. This is looking pretty good. I think we are all set here. And while we are scouting out our next location for AI servers and what we're going to do, this will just be cranking away, and we should easily get to our 1,000 with no worries here. We've got everything automated and coming in. I think we may end up re-leveraging that original base. We've got a lot of infrastructure there to bring together the parts for the AI server, so I'm glad we did not tear that base down. I think it's going to work out pretty well. We can use some trains to bring in some materials. We've got a sorting system. We are still running that iron factory underneath. So we've got an awful lot already in place. So we'll take a look and see. We've got a lot of factories still, or machines still left there from embracing the small. So we'll definitely have to do a little cleanup. But then I'm kind of thinking we're going to be pretty quick to get these last couple of pieces into phase 5 and potentially save humanity. So with that, I think we'll wrap this episode up. We'll probably have an episode each for the last couple of things to get us to phase 5, and then we'll probably talk about some bonus episodes, maybe where we clean up some factories and get rid of some of these floating floors. Perhaps a bonus episode around nuclear power. We certainly didn't need nuclear power, but we could do an episode around that and talk about ideas for season 2. So until then, stay curious and keep exploring.